The following presentation is a gift from the team at Streamline Publishing, publishers of Fine Art Connoisseur, Plein Air Magazine, and weekly newsletters Fine Art Today, Realism Today, Plein Air Today, and American Watercolor, and events, the Plein Air Convention and the Figurative Art Convention. We offer over 400 different art instruction tutorials and ultra high-quality video by the world's leading artists. If you like what you see, help us support our artists and our team with your purchase. Each video aired has a special discount code for today only in the comments section with a link to the video offered. And to see everything we do, or if you want to receive notice of new releases, new products, and new events for artists, simply click the other link, which says, see everything we do. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Eric Rhodes, publisher of Fine Art Connoisseur and Plein Air magazines. We've got something special for the watercolor people today. And remember, if you're not a watercolorist, you can still learn from this. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Francesco Fontana, a painter from Italy. I do paint in oil and watercolor, other than other media occasionally, but I basically do watercolor in oil. And I'm here to show you my process, my approach to watercolor, and my approach to painting in general. So I'm pretty excited to have this opportunity to just reach you out and with my style and my ideas about painting. Basically, I do believe it's important to be able to draw before we get onto the paper in this case, or the canvas if we paint another medium. To just study the subject, understand the subject a little better, and get into the spirit of it. That's what I do, especially when I travel. I do take sketches, and I rather prefer draw 3 sketches rather than 30 photos. So basically I do work from my sketches, sometimes even on location, because I like to have my picture translated to a visual language, pre-digested in a way, before I get into I get to involved with the colors and brushes and so on. I want to get the spirit of it, basically. So to give you an example of what I do when I travel here in Texas, I've been in Texas now for a workshop, and I've been sketching pretty many scenes, especially range scenes. You know, where this one is pretty refined drawing, although pretty quick. Though I mean, sort of 15 minutes or so, or less even. And so I establish my main values. You can see I do establish a little value scale from 1 to 3. The lightest lights, the darkest dark, and the mid-tone. I try to stick with those values and keep it as simple as possible. As a composition, this is a compositional step. So then we have other sketches, little faster ones. I have several, pictures in the countryside around Austin. So, and still some other sketch with notes to really sort of get some of the details. Ideally, I just try to get rid of most details, but you can take some notes and just to recall you where's what. So still other sketches. This is more abstract. This is more kind of just the pattern of almost, 3 values, but really sort of impressionist. This is really impressionist and abstract. So, and this is another sketch. This is more atmospheric. It's downtown Austin, so it's a cityscape. So, okay, there are plenty of it. Yes, once again, sort of a very moody scene in the countryside. Yeah, you can see here this word, alla seconda. Alla seconda is kind of the name I gave to this concept of painting after drawing, which is not new at all in the history, but the new thing about it is that you paint a lot from memory, that I do practice that. For the reason that I mentioned before, that I want to get rid of most details and just really retain what really resonate with it. You know, it's memory is very selective, so it helps us to really get rid of what doesn't make the difference and what really does not express our feeling about that specific place. So I like to call it la seconda because it's in a second step, a second momentum, a second chance to develop a painting. But sometimes we use photos. That's possible. Because when we're traveling, you know, we take pictures. We don't always have the time to just stop and sketch. But there's a way to, you know, to use that concept that I've just been talking about, alla seconda, is just draw from your photo, translate the photo into something that is already kind of, something filtered and something that recalls you the mood of that day, that situation. So I have a picture from Chicago out of Wrigley Field, you know, where the match was going on. So, and that was very Americana to me. So I did sketches and photos, but different. So the first thing I do is just convert the photo into a black and white photo. And that's pretty easy. Any computer, any smartphone can do that. And then I start just massing my values, but just as an overall gestural drawing, you know. So I start from picking the darkest dark. I don't do lines at this moment. I just follow the main values. You know, just to catch a mood, just to fill the paper in a way with shadows and leave the blank paper, but not too much because it's never so white, you know. Okay, and then I may decide to just get into details and, you know, and work with the point on my pencil. So just looking for for the light and the shadow. And then being more specific, here's the car. Okay. And for now, I'm happy just to draw the shadow of the car, like the silhouette of the car in the dark. There's a backlight in there. So, okay. Okay. So, okay. So, I build up this drawing little by little. Although, you know, overall that will take maybe 10 minutes or so. Okay. So now I think I want to include some figure. There's a guy here. bit hard here, still busy. Now to include something in this area. I don't want to do it right here. So okay, and now I know there are a lot of poles, signage, and traffic lights, and so on. So, which make a very nice graphic look. So. So now it's the time for more lines, and it's time to work with the point of the pencil rather than the side, like I'm doing now actually. So just okay. So, okay, this is, we all know this sign, surface planing, pole, light. So let's do another one here, here. Then we have, oh yeah, let's put it, I'm going to move it here. Okay. So it's important that we don't include everything. We just do what makes sense in terms of composition, just a simple balance between different elements. We should think in terms of that what we have in front, it's just a pretext to capture shapes, light, colors, and above all, the spirit of the scene. You'll see further on that I'll probably change the color arrangement of this picture and decide to express my own my own vision. Through colors. That's the philosophy, the concept behind the process, which I'll show you anyway. Very soon. So, see if I have this value. I have a little mid-tone around this drawing, some lights here, but maybe I don't have enough darks. So, let's see, probably do the car. We have strong contrast as well, because it's noon. You know, the light is very high up at the zenith. So. Practically done. Good much drawing. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. And what I don't have here, I will sort of recall by memory or a little bit of invention. Okay. Let's sign it, you know, never know. It's a piece of art. Okay, now I'm ready to transfer this drawing on my sheet of carton paper and paint it. You know, so, and the trick is, the challenge is in a way that I will turn the computer off and I will not look at the original picture anymore until the end of the painting. That's just because I don't want to be caught into details and be drawn into what the painting wants me to describe. I don't want to describe the scene, I want to just try to get the mood. That's a challenge. You may fail sometime, you may succeed. So, one more little detail, which is just still poles and flags and things like that, you know. And I'll decide to make the car my focal point.
There's a reason why painting masters like William Blake, Eugène Delacroix, John Singer Sargent, and Georgia O'Keeffe love to work with watercolors. They understood how the nature of this medium can open up new experiences and perspectives that you simply can't find anywhere else. That's because from the very moment you begin painting in watercolor, you become part of a dance, an ebb and flow of emotion based on both rhythm and improvisation. Now, for the first time ever, Lily Dahl Video Productions is giving you exclusive access to an exciting watercolor technique that will help you capture the essence of your subject with more depth and emotion than you would ever believe. And this unique method is so effective that it can help you dramatically improve your oil and acrylic technique as well. Join Francesco Fontana, the critically acclaimed painter and art instructor based out of Milan, Italy, as he takes you on a step-by-step journey through creating a beautiful watercolor painting using his Seconda method.
I just sort of shift from just watching the subject and try to rely on memory to observe, to take sketches which have a specific purpose, and then help myself with memory. And I know the memory, we know it's selective. We remember what really resonates within. We don't remember all the information in any experience. But I think that's what we need, is just to have less information to simplify the subject, but also to get to the real essence, the spirit of it.
Watch as your work takes on new life with the help of this all-new DVD training. You'll learn how to craft a stunning painting from the very first steps of creating your palette to adding the final details.
I close my computer and I put my drawing in front of me, and that'll be my only reference for the painting. Let me establish the main drawing here, just a simple drawing. I'm going to think about colors now, and I will probably make a different arrangement. I will do my own color selection, not necessarily the same as the actual picture.
Francesco will show you how to harness emotion and translate it directly into your process, so you can reinvent reality for your friends, family, and patrons. You'll also learn how to paint foregrounds and backgrounds, and use the right wash that appeals to you. Francesco will guide you and show you tips and techniques to capturing light, mood, tone, and other elements by expressing the magic of what originally caught your eye in the subject.
You can paint, but you have to have the whole picture under control. I move from here to that, but still trying to make the painting grow all together.
This DVD training provides you with a wealth of painting tips that will help you take your creative process to the next level. Watercolor the Italian Way, the Seconda method with Francesco Fontana, is now available on DVD from Lily Dahl Video Productions. Watercolor the Italian Way, the Seconda method with Francesco Fontana.
I hope you enjoyed that. You can learn more about it at lilyartvideo.com. And remember, today only we have a special discount in the comments section. What do you say we go right to the interview? Hi, I'm art publisher Eric Rhodes. Today we're with Francesco Fontana. Did I get that right?
Sure.
I'm trying to sound like a true Italian.
Okay, you're doing very well, very well.
Welcome.
Welcome, thank you for inviting me here.
Well, we wanted to spend a little time with you today and learn a little bit about your background and your thoughts as an artist. So you're from Italy. Were you born in Italy?
Yeah, I was born in Palermo, Sicily, actually, which is a special part of Italy.
It's a beautiful part of Italy.
Yeah, definitely.
So what was growing up in Sicily like? You know, we all have thoughts of what we've heard about Sicily. I won't use the M word, but what was that like growing up as a kid?
Well, it was a lot of freedom. I remember just playing, out in the street. Was pretty safe for a kid. We could just get outside. A lot of outdoor playing and kidding around and so on, exploring the neighborhood. I remember, no cars. The M factor has been affecting our life, but however, I remember light, a lot of light, sunlight, and colors, and also smells in the good sense,
The light in Palermo is beautiful. It's a golden light, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And it's because of the particles from the sea.
Yes, sometimes we experience to have the red sky because of the we call it scirocco, the wind from Africa.
Yeah.
So it brings sand. It brings the sand.
Really?
And so the sky is kind of reddish in the daytime. In the daytime, right? That happens very rarely, but that happens. So the colors are changing very much, and the sky is moving a lot. And so that was my, and of course this was the seaside. There's the seaside, so a lot of time spent at the beach and a little walking on the beach at night. I'm getting romantic, but I mean, these are my memories actually now. It's very kind of like that, and a lot of drawing. Back to the painting,
So let's talk about that. When do you think you first had a sense of being an artist?
Oh, that was pretty early.
Like how early?
I mean, I was at mid-school. It could be, no, that was earlier than that. I mean, I was the kind of kid drawing all the time, compulsively in a way,
Yeah.
sketching all the time. And but there was, I remember very clearly a moment when I was at mid-school that a teacher showed a book with the street artist in Montmartre in Paris. And that was the very moment that something clicked, and something sort of, and I said, I want to be that one.
So that dream actually came true. You actually envisioned being an artist in Montmartre, and then that happened, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's correct. I mean, 10 years later, I found myself drawing down the streets of Paris, the boulevard, the Montmartre Square, with the portrait artist's work. And, so I moved from Sicily, actually. That was a big step. All my friends thought I was crazy, because I didn't even speak French at that time. So, and I found myself doing that, and I was a great school of art and life in a way. Yeah, definitely. It's been very important because many, at the time, all artists were from all over the world. And so we confront, it was a kind of, you can consider it commercial kind of paint, drawing, but actually very good artists happen to be on the street, and so I learned a lot, and I learned also to confront and get friendly with people from other countries, to be cosmopolitan, so it's been a great school. The hard way, sometimes it was raining, I was working with the snow, It was the outdoor. Actually, it was the first kind of plein air experience that I did.
Right.
That all started from there because
Right.
it was outdoor, no way.
So I'm curious, you're young, you tell your parents, I'm leaving, I'm going to Paris.
Yeah.
And how did you have the money to go?
I didn't. I didn't have the money. I just had a little, I can't remember, but I did go out with a little amount of money.
So you just had a sketch pad and some pencils and...
Yeah, I went there and first of all, I went to, I wasn't sure how I would do that, but I met someone and he said, show me, it was kind of an initiation. I remember I met a guy and he said, you want to do this? Because I was just, wandering the place and the spots are kind of, there's a kind of little sort of little control of the area when you walk down the street. So the guy said, okay, you show me some drawing, you make some portrait, and you show me. And it was kind of submitting my work to this guy.
To get permission to be there.
Yeah. And then I brought the drawing, and he said, this is not good for the street, but you draw well, you're good. So, get on board. And they made a little spot for me.
And did you have to pay him to have that spot?
No, really. No, I mean, not in that place where we are at the moment. That was the Centre Pompidou, the Beaubourg area. But in Montmartre was a little tougher because you need a license to be there, and but apart from the official license as an artist, the square is pretty small. So at the time, there was kind of, can I mention that? I mean, kind of a mafia control of the spots and by a certain nationality. They were not Sicilians, not at all. So I say, oh, the world is not so different, it works more or less the same way. But I was enthusiastic anyway. So whatever the sacrifice I made, I had also sometimes to fight because, down the street you meet anybody, you can meet, you meet a lot of very wonderful people, artists, visiting persons, customers, and so on. But sometimes, it's not so fun,
So how would you get into a fight?
I try to sort of protect a girl that was kind of
Getting robbed?
Getting robbed. That was my customer there. I mean, she was there hanging, deciding if she wanted to have a portrait done, right? And so one guy came up and just got the necklace. So I said, hey, what are you doing? And so on. And the guy tried to, and started to kick off all the gear, easel, camping sets and that stuff. And so I went to him to just sort of stop him to do that. And I got what do you say, strike?
A headbutt.
A headbutt just in front of my. Well, we just fought. I tried to. We fought, but I lost.
And
I lost the match.
Yeah.
And I ran to a dentist to save this one, and I did actually, but.
So I'm curious, before you went to Montmartre, before you went to Paris, had you had any formal education as an artist?
Yeah.
So what was that like? Where did you study?
That was the art school. That's a level right before was a university. It was an art school. Then I went to architecture, which I didn't finish because I moved to Paris. I wanted to work, to be independent, and to get my hands on the art thing.
So how long did you spend working as a street artist in Paris?
That was a year.
A year.
It was a year.
And so you must have drawn hundreds and hundreds of portraits during that time.
Yeah, it's true.
And you had to do it fast.
Yeah. It's a very special way to work. You can be very commercial or you can be, you try to be yourself in a way, to draw the way you draw, the way you know, your approach, what you have learned at school, etc. Of course, you're less successful because, you know, commercial artists were, when I say commercial, you know, you learn how to understand people a little bit, to read a little bit people expectations, you know. So those who were more into making money would just say, okay, big eyelashes, you know, the woman would be just 10 years younger, would look much younger, and all that stuff, you know, making shining, you know, and flattering the customer.
Well, that's what a lot of good portrait artists still do today.
Probably, but I wasn't exactly that way. And also, you learn to be humble because you get rejections. The client will say, no, I don't like it. You know, when that's the moment, the moment of the truth, you turn the portrait, and you see either a smile in her face, or just say, is that me? So, and that's, you know, you lose again. But that's part of the other thing. So you can get rejection, and I told you, it's a tough school of work.
Well, it sounds like an important thing, because one thing that artists have a hard time with is rejection, and it's important to learn rejection.
Sure.
And when you're doing a lot of portraits on the streets, you're going to get a certain percentage of rejection, and so that probably is a good thing. Would you recommend that lifestyle of being a street artist for your daughters?
Well, daughters, I would. Well, as a dad, I wouldn't feel so kind of safe if they're working, you know, down the street, you know. But as a school of professionalism, can you say that? Mm-hmm. Professionalism. To be a professional means that you get along well with problems. That could be a rejection, that could be fail. Sometimes you fail. Most of the time I was happy. The best portrait that I did were sometimes rejected for the reason that I told you, because people expect. I learned that people have a complete different idea of themselves, of their own image, you know. Each of us has got his own idea on how we look. And so this is pretty hard because your point of view is completely different. And so I don't know if I would recommend my girls, but I would recommend a young artist to do that, absolutely. Because you learn a lot. You learn to be humble, to listen, to understand people, to see the difference between being honest and being, I don't know, maybe a little more money-oriented or so, you know what I mean?
So I'm just curious, how did you live? You took yourself to Montmartre in Paris, probably on the train from Italy.
I don't know, maybe I flew. Maybe I got the money to fly.
Okay. And then you found an apartment, you slept on the streets, what did you do?
No, I really do that. Sometimes I'm shameless, you know. Actually, I knocked on the door of a friend that I've just met. It was a new friend that I met in Greece. In Greece, I was, you know, on vacation the summer before. And the guy wasn't expecting me. So I said, "Hi, how you doing? I'm here in Paris. Can you sort of have me at your place for a little while?" That while lasted a month.
A month, yeah.
A month. But I mean, not too much in a way. And then I found an apartment. I searched for a place, which I share with two English girls who were in Paris in a way for similar reason. One was studying mime, and the other one some artistic stuff as well. I mean, I don't remember exactly what, theater or something like that. So, and I found this very nice apartment. I don't know, there's something to me that way, because, you know, in Paris, I've seen so many rooms and places, and you can have they there offer you, they call it chambre de bonne, or the little on the roof rooms that were very tiny. You only had the bed, just the single bed, and that was it. And I found an apartment with the British called tube, the tub in the bathroom. That was a luxury thing, right? So the apartment was the flat was pretty big, and but we share it. I found these girls to share it with, and the funny thing is that all my friends who thought I was crazy, a month later, they all came visiting and camping in my apartment. Yeah, that was you know, wow, vacation. They say, oh, Francesco's in Paris. Let's go see him. Actually, well, I was an excuse to have a place, not to pay an hotel or so. And there were moments I had fun, but you know, I couldn't just move in my own place. So, and I remember I met a girl in the metro from Palermo. She was much younger than me, and said, "Oh, you live in Paris?" And she said, "Oh, that you know, that's you so lucky." And I said, "Well, I actually took my suitcase and go. You know, I mean, I decided to go. You could do it. You could do that. Right? You know, nobody just gave me that as a present." Which was pretty brave to be, you know, from Sicily, which is, you know, it's pretty far, also culturally speaking. Although it's a place where people are very well educated and cultivated.
How you got from where you were in Montmartre to where you are today. Today you are a professional artist living in Milan. You have a school.
Yeah.
Tell me what took place after Paris to bring you to where you are today.
I spent almost as much time in London as well.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What were you doing there?
The same thing.
Street artist?
Street artist. That was a little tougher in a way. Well, Paris was tough already, but London was a little tougher because British, you know. But there again, there was a friend who introduced me to the group. For some reason, you know, friends helped me a lot. Yeah. New friends, actually, that I met on the way, on my journey. So, okay, Paris, London, where I started to learn the language and so on, and so I went back to Sicily, and I was working, then I started to work from the music industry, like drawing posters, billboards, painting that kind of stuff. I was involved in a jazz promotion company. Yeah. They were promoting big gigs of jazz musicians, jazz music.
What was the name of the company?
I was the Brass Group.
The Brass Group.
Brass Group. That was a kind of non-profit association, but for a bunch of reasons, they could afford to invite all the greatest, like say Miles Davis, just to name one. You name it, you know, 11s, sort of, you know, Pat Metheny, or all the big stars of the jazz world. So I painted posters for those festivals.
You did portraits of them for posters or
yeah,
paintings?
also, you know, have one day I will maybe do a little show that posters, because they were the 80s. Uh-huh. So all the kind of programs, brochures, and since, you know, I'd been abroad, I had my English already, you know, So I was involved in just also negotiating with, agents, doing local promoters work, but that's not the painting, the real painting. Painting as a full-time came later on. So I started to do with this graphic illustration and painting process and so on. And then I went on, until I moved to Milan. That was in the 90s, 1990 actually. I moved to Milan, and then for a while I wasn't sure because it was new and it was a little different. So anyway, I started to, I decided I wanted to go further with my education. So I went to workshops with Italian masters. You may not know them, but Maiotti, Lissoni, Pellizzoni, those people are veterans, the old school in a way.
Franco Pellizzoni.
Gianfranco Pellizzoni. Okay. Ettore Maiotti, Luisella Lissoni. Those were at the time, great masters. They still are. But some of them are pretty old now. So
they're living though.
They're living. I'm not sure about Pellizzoni. I'm not sure. I haven't seen him in a while.
And what were they masters of? They were masters of figures, or?
Well, with the first two, I learned how to. They did everything. Yeah. Like they were the old school. Like you got to be able to paint any subject, still life, landscape, figure, etc.
And they were in Milan.
They were in Milan.
Was there a school in Milan?
Yeah, it was just a workshop. They don't even nowadays. They don't even have a website. They work just people know them. They've got a great reputation, so they don't need to even promote themselves. So. So the idea was that you got to be able to paint with watercolor, with oil, any subject, in any situation, indoor, outdoor. So I was I extended my education into painting as a professional, being able to, have a little span of options with the media and the subject. And so I spent 3 years with them, and I was looking for opportunities to exhibit and to work with that, because Milano is not it's beautiful under many aspects, but it's not an easy. I would say Paris was much easier.
Really?
Yeah, than Milan, because they have their own fashion industry, the design industry, and all the other stuff is kind of a little bit we're closed in, kind of.
Well, in America in 1990, artists who were painting in traditional style would have had a hard time making a living because the world was enamored with modern abstract art. Was the same type of thing going on in Italy at the time?
I remember at that time, Maiotti said to me, okay, you're a good painter, but you're not going to go anywhere because the market is dead. There's nothing out there. That wasn't so encouraging.
That must have broken your heart.
Yeah, but I'm pretty stubborn anyways, Probably I'm very stubborn in my mind, so I said, okay. But at that very moment, I remember in my mind, I said, I'll prove you that, it's not that way. And it was true. Realistically, the market in Milan and in Italy, even today, is not easy at all. So, but I didn't consider myself a local artist.
Right.
So I said, who cares? I'll go where they would be happy to see my painting, my art. So.
I'm curious about your school today. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. I've been taught. We were talking about to get into the business, into the profession, and I was asked by people, individuals, to teach them, you know, which it wasn't in my plans. So I started to do it, sometimes the day arms, privately, sometimes, you know, I was hosted by local clubs and things like that. You know, so then I had a little studio on my own, on the street, you know, it was a kind of a shop. And then I found this nice, well, I like it, it's a large studio where I plan to do classes, to give classes. And so I've been there 6 years in this large studio in Milan, and I have a lot of, you know, classes going on, drawing from life, oil, watercolor, and now I have also some assistant helping me, especially when I travel. And I started to do workshop traveling all over Europe and Italy to do plein air, which I was probably the first one in Italy, and probably still, I wouldn't say the only one, but maybe probably the only one organizing outdoor plein air workshops. So I did that in Tuscany, Umbria, Sicily, Normandy, Paris itself.
We're seeing obviously a huge plein air movement in America. Are you seeing that in Europe?
Not so much, honestly, not so much.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do to change that?
Whatever we can put together.
So you know, in all of this, talking about you studying with the masters, you never talked about doing plein air other than being outdoors in Walmart and painting in the cold and so on. How did the plein air painting start for you?
It started that way. Well, actually, I remember that one of my masters that I mentioned took us one Sunday, took the class outdoor, and I loved it. But he doesn't do that. They don't do that on a regular basis. It was just one-off, sort of. So I thought that would be a good idea to do it that, you know, more often. When after that I had my own students. But also I was watching actually the international movement, you know, and I said, oh, this is a good model, a good idea to go out and paint on a regular basis and bring people and, you know, and also make it international. Because since my first, I remember my first workshop in Provence, in France, I had a bunch of Americans coming and joining the workshop. So I realized that was pretty interesting for both the experience and as a new kind of business option, you know, since I was still looking for, you know, opportunities to build my career. So so that it started that way, and I've done many workshops, many experiences outdoor.
We first met at the Plein Air Convention.
Yeah.
Where you were an attendee, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And how, I'm just curious how you learned about the convention.
Well, there's a lot of marketing going on about that, you know.
Well, I don't have anything to do with marketing, of course. Sure.
No, of course, I'm one of the guys I stay online pretty much, you know, so of course you get information, but because I look for that. I'm always open and thirsty for new information, and, you know, so I knew that, and I waited at least a year. That wasn't the first edition, but I said, I planned a year I had to go to explore. I was completely new.
Well, you're one who likes to go and explore. We know that about you. You don't let anything stop you. You get something in your mind and you go for it. So, well, I remember meeting you for the first time at the Plein Air Convention and watching you paint and seeing what a brilliant painter you were. And then we brought you back as an instructor. And now here we are today doing a video together.
Thank you for that. You know,
Thank
I'm
you.
always grateful for that.
Thank you.
This opportunity.
Well, you're gaining a lot of popularity in America, and you're doing workshops in America now, and also obviously around the world. What's the one thing that people don't know about you that we're not going to find in the history books that only you can tell us about?
I think, you know, I like to be remembered, to be, discovered in a way as an artist who was being able, as an Italian, was being able to renew the Italian tradition, the classical tradition, to something very contemporary that made a little difference in the art history. That's what I would like to be remembered as an artist.
Well, I think you're doing it.
Oh, you're too good. You're too good. I'm trying. Do my best to do that. I learn continuously, try to do my best.
Tell me a little bit about your life outside of painting. Tell me about your family.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm so happy to, the biggest things, the most important things that happened to my life in my late, at this age, is having two girls, Flora and Teresa. They are 7 years and a half old and 10 years old, almost. And I'm so happy about that because that keeps me young.
Right.
It's a lot of work, as you know, but that keeps me young, keeps me motivated to be, even to be a better artist, because I want them to be proud of me as a person, as a dad. I know they love me, so no problem. So far, at least, maybe.
Yeah, when they turn 14, that may change.
That's right. But I want them to be proud of me, and as an artist, as a person, as someone who's estimated. You say that, estimated by people. That people have esteem, for them, and so I try to. It's a challenge. I try to cope with traveling, teaching, painting, and taking and spend time with them. Go to vacation. I think I'm pretty good at that. Not so bad, because we spend a lot of time, especially in the summertime. And since I take the chance to be flexible in my schedule. Very busy, but pretty flexible. So I take them to school. I take them to dance class. I take them to, we spend quite enough time. Maybe a little spotty, but however.
Right.
I'm happy. They're very creative, but like all kids, so. But Flora said, the younger one, this is important. She said, she comes to my studio often. She's got her own spot, her own material, even oil painting, although she's just 7.5 years old.
She's oil painting.
She paints in oil, yeah, as well. Any medium, but including oil. And she said, you know what, Daddy? You copy, I invent. So, okay, good point.
That's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
Pretty introspective.
Yeah, and that made me think about it. That's just a reflection. That's why now I'm turning to kind of still being related to the real life landscapes, cityscapes, the representational art, but trying to include some, my own way, and try to be more creative.
Well, I wanted to talk about that because you're doing something that's very inventive and something that is what this video is really all about. And we've all heard the term alla prima, which in Italian means what?
I mean, it's at the first stroke, at the first try,
Right.
At first.
Right. You're doing it all live, wet, right? You're doing the painting wet. You're not layering. You're just.
Yeah, that means also direct painting.
Direct painting.
That means. Yeah.
But your term is tell me again.
Alla seconda.
Alla seconda.
That's right.
And what does that mean?
Well, that came pretty natural to me to think about this because they're both Italianisms. So I said, okay, I paint alla prima. I honor that tradition and I do it. But, you know, I find myself to also shift a little bit. When I travel, I do take a lot of sketches. I like to draw, as I said, as a kid, you know, I love that. And so I came back to that pleasure as well. So sometimes I find myself just painting on location, but from a sketch that I did in a different area, a different spot.
Right.
You know, recently this workshop I made here in the States, in Austin, I painted the subject with my back to the subject. That means I just sort of shift from just watching the subject and try to rely on memory, to observe, to take sketches which have a specific purpose, and then help myself with memory. And I know the memory, we know it's selective. We remember what really resonates within. We don't remember all the information in any experience. But I think that's what we need, is just to have less information to simplify the subject, but also to get to the real essence, the spirit of it. So I call alla seconda, meaning it's not just alla prima, like the application is direct, but the momentum could be shifted in the studio or...
So what I'm taking from this, seconda means second.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't specify that. That
Right.
means second, at
Second.
the second.
Right. So I think the concept is really important because when I go out and I look for a place to paint, there's something about that location that speaks to me. You know, I scan the area, I walk through the woods, I look for something, and then something will speak to me. And I'll set up and I'll start painting, and then I get obsessed with all the other stuff that I see, and sometimes I forget what it is about that scene that spoke to me, that made me want to paint it. So what you're essentially suggesting is you go out to the scene, you find something that speaks to you, you make a sketch, and then whether you're painting on location or whether you're painting in your studio later from a sketch, you're painting really from memory of what spoke to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I try to just to make my drawings have the purpose of getting the light, getting the mood of it, you know, sometimes really sort of lying. I learn how to lie.
Right.
Because I think we should move to the illusion of it, you know. The plein air experience is beautiful, it's exciting because we have a lot of inspiration. But I think we then have to give out to express the illusion of it, not the scene itself, to describe it, but to give some illusion, some magic, which is it's a challenge, you know. Sometimes we fail. I fail myself, of course. So that's the idea, to take a little distance from the subject. So alla seconda means I see the spot, I draw, I take notes, I try to get inspired, to internalize the thing, then take a little moment, maybe have lunch, or maybe postpone by weeks, you know, or just do it straight away, but not looking at the subject very often. Just to let most of the details and the things that overwhelms go. Forget about that. And just try to keep in mind, in your heart, your emotion. That's the idea.
I think it's a brilliant idea, and I think it's going to catch on because Well, there are a lot of purists in plein air. I hear from them all. I'm not suggesting they're right or they're wrong, but there are some people who say that a plein air painting has to be done on location and has to be exactly representative of the scene. And then there are others who will scold me or someone else because you bring your study back into the studio and you work on it some more. Or some who don't feel you should make a studio painting from it. You know, there's all different levels. Sure. And yet, really the goal here is to make a pleasing painting. Our job is not to be photographers. Our job is to, my opinion is, our job is to create a pleasing painting that speaks to ourselves personally, and hopefully if it speaks to us, it speaks to somebody else. And really, the best painters are moving trees and changing clouds and,
that's right.
and adapting light so that they get the drama they're looking for anyway. So really, your process is basically take a snapshot in your mind of that moment, sketch it out, bring it back, or turn around or do it on location. But what's magic about that is that you can now take that concept with photographs.
Yeah.
You could even though photographs lie, I'll be curious about your thoughts on that, but you know, there's a very hot movement on urban sketching right now.
Yeah.
And people going out and making sketches and on location. And all of us should be sketching. I carry a sketchbook and a pencil at all times. And I'm always sketching. But I'm not necessarily making paintings from my sketches. I'm just sketching for myself so that I'm remembering to sketch and so that I have record of where I visited. So how would you apply this to a photograph? Because some people think painting from photographs is difficult, and some people don't like the idea at all because, you know, the purists are, well, yeah, painting from plein air is what you should be doing.
What I do, very simple as this, is just draw from the photo. Whenever I can just draw on the spot. I do take a photo or even from my computer and just make a drawing, which is a drawing. It's not necessarily just a sketch, a quick sketch to say, oh, this and that, you know. I want to have the mood in my drawing. If I don't capture the mood in it already in my little timeline, I want the mood in there. So then I work from the sketch, not from the photo, because once again, I'll be overwhelmed by details, but also I wouldn't be free to change the arrangement. Because the other thing is that the subject is like a song. You know, you have a melody, you have a tune. You know, but you can change arrangement. You can have different instruments, so you can have a different color arrangement, and it sounds different. You can have a different rhythm. You know, so I apply the same thing. The jazz experience that I've mentioned before taught me this lesson: to have the jazz music is based on a theme which is written, and then you improvise. The soloist would just improvise. So what I do is just get the structure, draw kind of the line, the main tune, which is the subject, the idea of the subject, and then improvise in terms of color arrangement, in terms of also moving stuff, you know, or editing off, but moving stuff. I did that recently. There was a tower in Austin, and I just moved it, and you know.
So you're really doing a la Seconda jazz.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah, a la Seconda jazz. So that's interesting. And so even from photos, whatever reference, I want to pre-digest that. I want to make it mine. And to me, drawing is the way to make that subject mine.
There are a lot of correlations between music and painting.
A lot.
In the sense that, you know, we have calm moments, quiet moments, bright moments, and that can be translated in a painting, you know, having a calm spot and, you know, a dark spot, a bright spot, and something that stands out which might be a crescendo or,
Sure.
so a lot of similarity.
Yeah, I assume like the values as well, like the tonal scale. You have the darks, like, bass, you have the trebles, and the medium values. It's just the analogy is that.
It's really interesting because how many notes are there on a keyboard? An A, B, C, D. I don't know. It's about the same as a value scale, isn't it? I never really thought about those together.
Yeah, those are kind of the value scale, and I would say the color scale is the instrument. It's the color is like the same note played by two different instruments. They have two different voices, so two different colors, but they're playing the same note, meaning they're playing the same tone,
Right.
same value. So it's a tonal scale with a chromatic, we call it, in music, you call it chromatic scale, don't you? I think so. Chromatic scale, which is, color scale. So a lot of analogies in the rhythm as well. You can have a ballad, you can have an up-tempo piece, right? So I do paint or, sometimes feel like playing music.
I'm a guitar player.
I know.
I just learned guitar, started learning about 4 years ago, when my daughter wanted to take lessons and wanted me to attend with her. And she gave it up, I continued it, but it's actually made me a better painter because what I've learned about guitar, same kind of thing about rhythms, about scales, about ways of strumming, about variety, those things, it's easier for me to see them when it's new in guitar, and now I'm starting to realize I apply those same concepts when I paint.
Absolutely, yes, definitely.
Well, this has been fascinating. I appreciate you coming in and doing this with us and spending time. You have a really fascinating story. The streets of Montmartre and getting into a fight and the growing up, and I know there's some parts about your life that you and I talked about that we didn't put on video, but because there's so much to it. But you're a fascinating guy, and I feel honored that you came to the Plein Air Convention and that we got to know each other there. And here we are today, a couple of years later. You've been an instructor. You're coming back as an instructor. You and I have become friends,
Absolutely.
and here we are doing a video together. So we're honored that you're here, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric. I'm very grateful to you. Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that. You can learn more about it at lilyartvideo.com. And remember, today only we have a special discount in the comments section. Thanks for watching. I'm Eric Rhodes.
There's a reason why painting masters like William Blake, Eugène Delacroix, John Singer Sargent, and Georgia O'Keeffe love to work with watercolors. They understood how the nature of this medium can open up new experiences and perspectives that you simply can't find anywhere else. That's because from the very moment you begin painting in watercolor, you become part of a dance, an ebb and flow of emotion based on both rhythm and improvisation. Now, for the first time ever, Lily Doll Video Productions is giving you exclusive access to an exciting watercolor technique that will help you capture the essence of your subject with more depth and emotion than you would ever believe. And this unique method is so effective that it can help you dramatically improve your oil and acrylic technique as well. Join Francesco Fontana, the critically acclaimed painter and art instructor based out of Milan, Italy, as he takes you on a step-by-step journey through creating a beautiful watercolor painting using his Seconda method.
I just sort of shift from just watching the subject and try to rely on memory, to observe, to take sketches which have a specific purpose, and then help myself with memory. And I know the memory, we know it's selective. We remember what really resonates with it. We don't remember all the information in any experience. But I think that's what we need. It's just to have less information to simplify the subject, but also to get to the real essence, the spirit of it.
Watch as your work takes on new life with the help of this all-new DVD training. You'll learn how to craft a stunning painting from the very first steps of creating your palette to adding the final details.
I close my computer and I put my drawing in front of me, and that'll be my only reference for the painting. Let me establish the main drawing here, just a simple drawing. I'm going to think about colors now, and I will probably make a different arrangement. I will do my own color selection, not necessarily the same as the actual picture.
Francesco will show you how to harness emotion and translate it directly into your process, so you can reinvent reality for your friends, family, and patrons. You'll also learn how to paint foregrounds and backgrounds, and use the right wash that appeals to you. Francesco will guide you and show you tips and techniques to capturing light, mood, tone, and other elements by expressing the magic of what originally caught your eye in the subject.
You can paint, but you have to have the whole picture under control. Like I move from here to that, but still trying to make the painting grow all together.
This DVD training provides you with a wealth of painting tips that will help you take your creative process to the next level. Watercolor the Italian Way, the alla Seconda method with Francesco Fontana, is now available on DVD from Lily Doll Video Productions. Watercolor the Italian Way, the alla Seconda method with Francesco Fontana.